What's up everyone, my name is Parker. I'm a professional men's volleyball player in Germany. Today's video will be another film breakdown and analysis from the perspective of a professional men's volleyball player. We're going to be watching Berlin versus Perugia, which was going to be a really fun game to get into. I chose this game because obviously Berlin is one of the top teams in the Bundesliga, which is where I play, so I'm very familiar with this team. And then their Champions League matchup recently was against Perugia, which is one of the best teams in Italy. I'm really excited to get into it. So let's start breaking down some of these plays. All right, so right away, Berlin has Rijkaard on the back to serve. He's going to start off the game with a nice little float serve, going right to their outside, try to get an out system. It's an almost perfect pass. Perugia's setter is in a great location, has all four hitting pins available, and he decides to go to the back row right off the bat and set a pipe. All right, let's go back and watch this again. So now this is a big deal. First point of the game, one of the things that a setter thinks of and the team thinks of as general is what positions on the court, what hitters they want to establish early. If you can establish a pipe early on in the game, it changes the whole game. Right away, this setter is able to get a good pass. He's able to set the pipe on an almost open net and get a kill. Right there, Berlin's whole strategy has to shift a little bit. Because instead of just blocking three attackers, you have this team, Perugia, who can run a pipe very effectively and efficiently. So as you can see, the middle on Berlin jumps with their middle. The setter on Berlin is already on the outside trying to block this outside. Their other outside, the outside on Berlin, is all the way back there blocking the right side. So they have one guy blocking each front row attacker. What they don't have is anybody blocking their back row attacker. This is why it changes the game. Because once Perugia gets the kill in the back row, all of a sudden Berlin has to respect that guy now. And that takes away some pressure from the pins or the middle, depending on who he sets for the next one. Berlin's middle is on the way down. He puts like a half block up, but really this is an almost open net for the Perugia back row outside to get the kill. First point of the game. It's huge. Okay, second point of the game. Perugia's outside is back to serve. All right, watch the float and the trajectory on this jump spin. It's a fast ball. That's a ball that's moving side to side very quickly. Berlin's libero, Kyle D'Agostino, gets a good touch on this, but it's just a little too fast of a ball for him to keep it on Berlin's side. This is a free ball opportunity for Perugia. Outside is taking this free ball. Could he have jumped up and tried to hit this ball? Yes. As you can see, Berlin's setter fully anticipated the outside to hit this overpass, right? Sometimes hitting overpasses in the professional game is not advised. Actually, you would rather take this as a free ball so you can have all four pins up and available on the next swing instead of just trying to crush this overpass with the setter up and trying to block you right in your face. So he knows that the setter's front row for Berlin and can block. So he's going to take this free ball and just give it to one of the best setters in the world here for Perugia. It's a little bit of a low free ball. I would have liked to see it higher, but this is just how Perugia plays sometimes. They try a lot of different tactics and aspects. So Gianelli is forced to set from his platform instead of his hands. Still gets a pretty good set up. So now it's a one-on-one scenario, even though the setter was setting from his platform. Kind of crazy. But that's just how the Italian league plays. One-on-one scenario, this right side goes high off the top of the Berlin block. Rijkaard in the back row gets a great touch. Jake Haynes tracks this ball down somehow and pops it up. Berlin's able to send over another free ball. So here's another chance for Berlin to kind of get this ball back. They sent over 2 free balls already. Let's see if they can get a good block up. This time, the libero takes the free ball. It's perfect to Gianelli. He's able to set wherever he wants. He decides to repeat, go right back to his right side, who has a one-on-one scenario yet again, but this time he was able to get a full approach. Gianelli is able to set with his hands, and he's able to put this ball hard cross court, almost gets blocked, goes right off the Berlin middle's head for the kill. 2 points in, Perugia's up 2-0. Let's fast forward. Okay, once again, third point of the match, Perugia's outside goes back to hit this ball. He ripped the last one, and it resulted in an overpass from Berlin. So, professional volleyball player, what do you do on this next one? Do you rip it? Do you go short? Do you go take a little off of it? Do you maybe go for a risk? He's already at 1 point, maybe he goes again. There's a lot of different things you can do. This guy decides to roll short, something that the libero probably wasn't expecting. Maybe he thought he was going to rip it again, get another overpass, but he goes short. D'Agostino is good enough to read this and get up a good ball for the setter to set. It's a good scenario. You got a back row right side over here, Jake Haynes. You got the middle up, Rijkaard coming in the back row, and then you have the outside, number 7. It's a good set. It's a good situation for Berlin. The outside's hitting one-on-one, and as you can tell, Perugia's right side is kind of out of sorts here with his arms and his body positioning. He was staying in so he could help block the middle. They ended up setting over to the outside, so he's a little late on this block. He had a sidestep, and now he's reaching with his arms. Berlin's outside, swings with this ball, goes right through the hands of the reaching Perugia right side and goes out of bounds. Very lucky play for Perugia. Berlin probably should have put that ball away, but these things happen. All right, next point of the match. Perugia's outside goes back and rips another one right at the libero. This time, Carl D'Agostino passes it perfectly. All right, as you can see here from Berlin, we got 4 options. Right side, outside, middle, and the other outside. He decides to repeat the guy who just made an error, the outside. He goes back to him. Setters will do this sometimes. I don't know if that's exactly what the Berlin setter had in mind here, but setters will sometimes repeat players who get errors because the defense is not really expecting that repeat sometimes, or just want to give that guy a little boost of confidence. It could be a lot of different things. But he repeats the outside. There's a double block up from Perugia. Maybe not the prettiest, but it's, their right side's up and he's pretty big and ends up being a great kill for Berlin. Kind of a line shot. Perugia right side left a good amount of line on this guy, and he was able to just kind of put it right in there pretty easily. All right, Berlin's middle goes back to float serve. He gets them out of system. Giannelli has to platform set once again. This is the second time already, and we're 5 points in. He sets a beautiful ball to their right side, who's still front row. Look at this triple block. A little interesting from Berlin here. This set is not extremely high. It's high. It could be higher. But Berlin was still able to send the setter all the way over and get a triple block up. Is it pretty? Well, these two are pretty. The outside and the middle have their hands perfectly together, 4 arms there. There's no gaps, but the setter from Berlin is a little bit piked, and he's a little late to the block. He's still getting his hands in the gap, trying to reach in there, but ultimately could be a dangerous situation if this right side was able to turn this cross. There's a big gap there for it to go through. He decides to go high to the line, which is a great swing. Goes off the hands of the outside. Beautiful dig by the back row middle. Beautiful up. The Berlin setter is able to go back to Jake Haynes. It's an inside set, so Jake steps inside from the back row. He's got a big double block up, and he can still squeak this line off the hands. As you can see, Jake put everything into this jump and swing. He even lands on his knees, gets up, celebrates with his teammates. That's a big point score for them. All right, we fast forwarded a good amount into the first set. We're a couple points ahead. Berlin has one of their outsides back to serve. He's going to rip this ball center 6 right to the outside. It's a great pass. The setter has all 4 options active. Sets the middle, who hits right kind of over Berlin's middle a little bit, but this ball gets dug by the back row outside. The setter is able to pop it up, and a free ball comes over. Watch this libero. He calls everyone off for Perugia to take this to make it absolutely perfect. Right after he takes it, he gets out of the way as fast as he can. Just dips out of there. Goes back to his spot where he can cover. This is very important. So these balls could be, free balls can come over anywhere, but we want the liberos to take them so that everyone else is free to just worry about their route and the ball that they have to hit. But once the libero takes this ball, it's important for him to get into a position where he can cover this next set. So he gets into his position, gets out of the way. The free ball is perfect. Anyone can hit this ball. And the setter decides to dump. We love a good setter dump. And it's really hard when you have a setter this big and this high over the net. It's hard to just read it when you got 4 hitters coming at you, to read a quick setter dump over the net and get a good touch on it. Just a good heads up play. We have a Perugia middle back to serve. He goes short, taking out the Berlin outside. So this guy is fully on the ground. He had to pass this ball. It's a good pass, but now he's kind of out of it. Like the setter's probably not going to be able to set him. That limits Berlin's options drastically. So now these three Perugia blockers are already signaling to each other to go to their left side because it's going to be a ball back to the right side, a ball to the middle, maybe a ball over on the pipe. And it's a ball to the middle. This Perugia middle gets up a good block. See, he's kind of Y form blocking, trying to take up as much court as he can. The ball goes right off of his hands and back to the Berlin side. So this ball's played up pretty well. As you can see, the setter is jumping from the 10-foot line, 3-meter line, I should say, for the European volleyball players. He's sitting right about the 3-meter line. He only has two options. As you can see, the middle is on the ground at the net, not even trying to jump. The back row outside is up there. He doesn't have any sort of approach. So this ball's either going to the outside, who just played the free ball, or it's going to the right side, who probably has a better chance of approach and a better chance to swing. He decides to go back to the right side. The Perugia middle is slightly late, but still gets his hands up into the zone of where the ball could be. Jake decides to swing line. He sees a little bit of space there, rips it line, avoids the libero. It's a big kill for Berlin. All right, the score is now 19-14. Perugia has a 5-point lead now. Jake Haynes is back to serve. At this point, if you're down by this much in the first set, I think the smartest option for your serve, for an opposite like Jake, is to go for an ace. Pretty much rip this thing as hard as you can. Not really play it safe. You kind of need to claw your way back into the game, so you want to take a risk here. And that's what he does. Gets a good toss, rips this pretty hard right into the seam between the two outsides. Lucky for Perugia, they get a great up on what is a pretty hard ball to pass. Now the back row outside is on the ground. That takes one hitter out. But as you can tell, they still got 3 hitters in the rotation. Their middle's up on a gap. Their outside's coming around here. And then if they want to go long distance, they can go long distance back to the D ball. Set goes to the outside, okay? As you can tell, the Berlin middle fully committed on the Perugia middle. Sometimes you got to do this. Sometimes you got to take risks because that middle efficiency is super high. So sometimes you have to jump with that middle. They go to the outside. Berlin's setter is up, and as you can tell, Berlin's middle is also up in a sense. His hang time and his jump is so good that he's able to leave his hands up there and try to kind of form a double block. Now, this Perugia outside goes hard cross, sneaks it through the block, and it lands inside the 10-foot line across the court. That's just a really impressive shot. Perugia would go on to win that set and then eventually win the match in this Champions League matchup between Berlin and Perugia. I hope you guys enjoyed the couple points that I picked out and broke down the film there of just how kind of we view it as professional volleyball players, what's going through our minds when this is all going on and kind of what we're looking for in film. If you guys want to see more of these breakdowns, hit the like button, subscribe, comment on what you want to see more of or what you want to see less of. Hopefully my audio in this video is a little better than the last one, but if you want to go look at that one, I'll have it linked to this video as well. We'll see you guys next time.